All right, welcome back to a special episode of Inside the Helmet. Special because episode number 12, and that's the best number, of course. We have a special guest today, a former teammate of mine, as well as, in some ways, a mentor. Please welcome the Simpson College all-time leading passer, J Jensen.
How we doing? How we doing?
Hey,
Welcome, welcome. Oh yeah, my dad's
Appreciate
here too.
it.
yeah, I'm the also yeah he's also here, but I'm here every week, and no, it's great to
Yeah.
have you, Jay. I hope you can join us on future podcasts as well.
Alrighty, man. I will.
All
So
right. Take us away.
yeah, so as those who follow the podcast know, inside the helmet, our first segment, we always want to address issues that players and coaches are well aware of, and maybe the average fan in the stands who hasn't been inside those locker rooms and inside those huddles, maybe they don't think about it, maybe they don't know. But we were talking before the podcast about the fact that no matter what happens in your football career, at some point there's going to be that last time when you put the helmet on for the last time in the shoulder pads, and many guys have been doing this for since they were 6 years old. And what Tom Brady, I think, played till he was 45, but eventually he too had to take off the helmet and shoulder pads. And it's for me personally, I mean, it's been so long, it's kind of an emotional topic. Curious to know, Jay, I'll throw it to you first. uh, what's that like? I mean, as a younger player who's spent so long, and suddenly this thing that's a big part of your life is no longer there.
Yeah. I woke up last Saturday and I was like, oh yeah, like I'm ready to go out there, right, and get hit or hit somebody. And then I woke up and I was like, well, I just can't anymore, and as you said, all things come to an end. So yeah, but I would say it was one of the hardest feelings in my life is I won't be able to have that helmet on anymore. I won't be able to throw a touchdown or hand it off, right? It's just one of those things. But yeah.
I've heard some people, Jay, and I, reflecting back on my days years and years ago. Um, there's the missing the competition, but what I've heard so many people talk about, it's the camaraderie, it's the guys, it's the locker room, right?
Yes. Yes, for sure. Yes. It's just after practice and everybody is tired and everybody's hurting, and then somebody says something, right, to somebody else, and then it just gets everyone all like hyped up. Like that's what I miss. And I miss the pre games where like Coach Hoskins would rough up somebody, and then we would all get hype. And then it's just like the off the field stuff as well, man. It's just hard, but yeah.
Yeah, and I can tell you that there's not a feeling. I've been a player, I've been a coach, I've actually done some announcing of high school games, as a broadcaster, and I love it all, but there's nothing like lacing them up.
Nothing.
Uh, it just can't compete, and unfortunately, the way our bodies are made, there's a time limit
Yeah.
on how long we can do that.
Yes,
And
for sure.
but at the same time, I think that when you do look back, having some pride in what you were able to accomplish, because all three of us know, just even to compete out there on the football field and be able to do that makes you special.
Yeah.
There's 22 guys out there on the field, and another number on the sideline, but there's a lot more in the stands who were not privileged, at least on that day, to go out on that field and compete. And it's such a privilege. And if you happen to be a good player, and you know, both of you guys are quarterbacks, so you're high profile. I was just a lowly wide receiver. Um, you know, I'd get the ball, you know, a handful of times, but you guys got to handle the ball in every play. And it's such a privilege and such an honor, and the things that you learn, leadership and camaraderie and everything else. But to look back on what you did, and especially Jay, I mean, I got to watch you play a lot, and you know, our listeners to the podcast probably didn't catch a lot of Simpson college games. It's just the way it is. Guys, this guy was fantastic. I mean, talk about a competitor. He had all the skills. He had all the ability. I watched all the games because you know, Michael was up there, and so I had an interest. And I think that when you kind of finally look back on it and are able to tuck it away as a part of your life, there's going to be a lot of reason to be really proud of what you did out there.
100%. 100%, man. I just give all the credit to the man upstairs. You know, if you would have said my senior year of high school that, you know, I would head all the way up to Iowa and play up there, I would have been like, yeah, there's no way I go up to Iowa, right? And so it's just I give all the credit to like the staff and my teammates, and they really helped me to be who I was. So
Yeah. Well, Michael's got 1 year left to, you know, still lace him up, and then he's
Yeah.
going to have that same look that I see in your eyes. That honestly, when I look in the mirror for the last several decades, I see in my own eyes. But it's an understanding that this game doesn't last forever. It's a young person's game, and boy, the years fly by, don't they?
oh yeah, yes sir, they do.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, it's something I think that the average fan, maybe who just comes to a game, maybe they don't feel it and understand it that way, but it's a very emotional thing. Even way back when I played, I was aware of it when I went from my junior year of, you know, just in high school, to my senior year of high school. All these guys that had been around, it's like, guys, we've got, you know, 10, 12 games left, whatever it was, and then that's it. And
Yeah,
I found myself at the end of football season going, I still want to be around these guys. And so my high school coach talked me into running track because some of the guys were running track. I wasn't particularly, I mean, I was medium fast, but I had these long legs. And so they talked me into running the hurdles, even though I had no clue what I was doing. But I just wanted to be around the guys. I wanted to be in the locker room. And maybe that's why so many guys go into coaching or broadcasting or something, to still be around it. It's really a culture that gets deep into your bones.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
oh yeah, for
absolutely.
sure.
Michael, you're awful quiet over there. What are your thoughts?
I was just thinking that that feeling of, oh man, suddenly football is not really a part of my life anymore in the same capacity that it was as a player. That's a feeling, in a way. I say it kind of jokingly, but it's kind of true now that I think about it. I'm kind of running from with this whole podcast, and if you follow me on social medias, I'm posting like coaching videos and other football related content. So in a way, I'm kind of trying to take football and make it kind of my brand and just kind of my job. So in
Yeah,
a way, I'm kind of running from it.
yeah, yep. And just to add on to that, man, I remember it was our last home game against Luther my senior year. You know, the last time that we were gonna have on our helmets as the seniors, and it was I think it was 14-14, and we drive down and then we hand it off to my center and he runs it in. And man, I just as soon as I got on the sideline, man, I just started crying my eyes out because I knew that that was going to be like the last time that 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 like we had like everybody in like the huddle, and it was gonna be like the last time that it was it was like the end of the game, and we had to score, right? And so
Yeah.
yep, and so I just, man, like I remember, like I took off my helmet and then I just started crying my eyes out because I knew that it was going to be the last time. So
Did you say you handed off to your center?
yeah,
Oh,
yep, yep. And so
That
he
you
came
happened.
gotta
in,
you gotta tell us about that.
yep, and so he was our heavy halfback, and so
Okay.
it would be at the 1 yard line to like the six or something, and we call hammers, and he was
Okay.
our hammer back. And so I would just hand it off to him and he would bulldoze everybody over. And I
Okay.
remember that I handed like a outside zone to him, and he shrugged off the linebacker, and he got in, and then as soon as he got in the end zone, man, he started crying as well because that was the last time that he was going to ever score a touchdown. So,
Oh. What a
yeah.
what a what a great way to finish though, because those linemen, we used to call them the big uglies.
Yeah.
Those guys are some of the best guys you'll ever meet.
Yep.
Uh, the guys who play on the offensive line. I think my best friend in high school that I played with was an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
They're just always great guys. That's great that he got to score that last touchdown. Um, but
Yeah.
so yeah, it I mean, football is such an emotional thing, and there's so many layers and levels to it. And like Michael said, many of us do try to somehow stay connected to the game, whether it's through broadcasting. Now podcasts are out there. Coaching. I think I've coached about a dozen years of youth football, and you think back on all the moments. Jay, I'm going to tell you a moment that I'm sure Michael remembers.
Let's
I
hear
was
it.
coaching him, and I think he was in seventh grade, and he played in this league. It was called Extreme Flag Football, and it's not a tackle league, but it is helmets and shoulder pads, shorts and flags. It's a hybrid league where you learn skills and balance and all that kind of stuff. But it's very competitive, and I've coached in it for a number of years. And the field is not 100 yards by 53.5 yards. It's a Michael, what is it, like 70 yards long?
It's about 60 or 70, yeah, and then
Yeah, I
maybe
mean it's a shorter
20
field, and
or so wide.
it's a little bit more narrow. And
Mhm.
there was a day when Michael wanted to see if he could throw the entire length of the field. It was just in warm-ups. And I mean, we called him. I'm sure you saw the shirts he wears. We called him the long arm of the law for a reason. Because he could throw it a long way, and of course, I'm a lawyer and attorney, and so it was a natural fit. And he was so excited because he had been trying, like in fifth grade, I think he could throw it from midfield to the end zone on the shorter field, but he always wanted to try and do the entire field. And not only did he throw to the end zone, he threw out of the back of the end zone. And
Wow.
I was just, as a dad and as a coach, I was just like, oh man, this is so awesome. And you can't replicate those feelings. And that had nothing to do with a game or a touchdown or a win or anything. It was just one of those pride moments.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And then I remember, um, it was his uh freshman year, and then like it was like pre-practice, and we were like just getting like our arms like all warmed up and stuff. And then I remember he heaves one like 60 yards, and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, yeah, and it was just unreal, man. He's
Yeah,
always had a very strong arm, and that's what I love about him. So,
yeah. That was pretty evident, like in second grade. And
wow.
so we did everything we could to develop it. And just Michael used to come get me after dinner, like 5 of the 7 nights out of the week, and we go out in the side yard and throw the ball. And we calculated it one time because we would go out there and throw 1,000 passes to each other. just back and forth, just talking over life, and um, and we figured it out one time. It was probably well over 2 million passes that we wound up throwing during his growing up, just and it was, we weren't out there trying to strengthen his arm, we were just bonding. But he's always had that natural throwing ability. I wish he had your wheels, because
I wish he did it.
you
I
could
wish he
move,
did
but
it.
I mean, Michael's 6'5", so his wheels are only going to move just so fast. I mean,
Yeah.
I told him, you're going to be a Peyton Manning, not a Lamar Jackson." So, uh, but anyway, man, we could talk about this kind of stuff forever. But I do want to talk about, as we normally do, our beloved. Jay, I don't know if they're beloved to you, but for Michael and I, our beloved Cowboys, our beloved Longhorns. Yeah, who do you root for? Just so I know.
The Texans, and then UT, A&M, like, you know what I mean? It's just like
Okay.
the schools
Okay,
here in
no,
the state.
I mean, it
So,
makes sense. You'd be a Texans fan being from the Katy area. I get that.
yeah,
Um, but we're from Austin, so it's Longhorns and Cowboys. And Longhorns. Speaking of UT A&M, big game this weekend.
UT game.
I wish somehow that Texas would have been able to, handle Georgia and not fall apart in the second half, because then this game would be for all the marbles.
Yeah,
uh, or at least, well, I'm sitting here actually on TV right now. They're talking about the possibilities of teams. Texas A&M is ranked third in the nation. If UT does happen to upset them, maybe even with 3 losses, they have an argument
100%.
to get into the top 12. Maybe they don't. I don't know. What do you guys? My take on this is what I saw in the first 5 games from Arch Manning was a guy who was nervous. He was afraid to pull the trigger. He felt the weight of all the preseason hype, and then something clicked. It was he changed, and over the last 5 or 6 games, he's actually looked like a legitimate guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and somebody showed me his numbers next to the Texas A&M quarterback's numbers, and they're almost identical.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think
So,
I really saw that. I saw that whenever I think it was y'all's Kentucky game where he threw for like three, ran one in, and then I think he had a receiving touchdown as well. But I
yeah,
think after that game, man, like you could really see he got confident again.
Yeah. I think maybe one thing you can point to is that with Kentucky, and then who else did we play really close? Was it Mississippi State or
yeah, the big comeback game.
Yep.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think just being able to, even though maybe Texas on paper was favored to win by a whole lot and all that, especially they were the preseason favorite for sure. Um, just being able to get it done against a fellow SEC opponent, which you know is going to be a good team, no matter what the rankings say, that's going to be a huge confidence booster for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
got. I got to say, I've been watching A&M whenever I get a chance, because I knew that this game was coming up, and really super impressed by their receiving core. Oh my
Oh yeah.
gosh,
Mhm.
Concepcion, stands out. I'm not thinking of all of their names, but boy, they've really got some guys who go up and get it, and know what to do with it after they catch the pass. Um, Texas, you guys have played way more enough football to know it's going to come down to the trenches, because both teams have 4 and 5 star skill players. It's going to come down to the trenches, and I don't know. The fact that it's in Austin gives UT a little bit of an advantage. Um, but I mean, again, A&M's ranked third for a reason and undefeated.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. For sure. And I think that we are a throw away from UT heading into like Ohio State and coming out of there with a win. So I mean,
Sure.
I I want to say either A&M wins by 3 or UT wins by 3. I mean, I don't. Hopefully, it's not an ugly game, but I mean, I think it's going to be a slugfest. So
I absolutely agree with this. I think as a Texas fan, my biggest piece of confidence going into this game is actually the first half or so of Texas A&M against who was it? Was it Arkansas that they had the big comeback against?
No,
I
they
forget if it was
blew out
Arkansas,
Arkansas. That
Mississippi
was
State, was it?
Mississippi State. Yeah.
Okay, I was one of the two. Anyway, if a team like Mississippi State, who I would think most would argue is a far inferior team to the Texas Longhorns, if Mississippi State, now of course they couldn't hold the lead, but if they can manhandle the Aggies at least for a half the way they did, imagine what the Longhorns can do. And then possibly even hold on to that lead. So that's my biggest piece of confidence. I think I've been mentioning it for a couple weeks now.
However, we also watched a couple of weeks ago. A&M came out totally flat against South Carolina. Looked like they'd never seen a football in their life. South
That's what
Carolina
it was.
quarterback looked like he should win the next two Heisman trophies. And then suddenly, and everybody was, what was it, 31 to whatever,
Yeah.
3 or
3,
something
That's the
ridiculous.
yeah,
game I was talking about. I just got the opponent wrong.
yeah,
Yeah. And in the second half, it's like A&M flipped a switch,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
and now they couldn't do anything wrong. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. A lot of times I feel like I know what maybe to expect, but in a rivalry game, you guys have
no,
played in
never know.
rivalry games. I've played
Yeah.
in rivalry games. Throw all of it out.
Yep,
What I've seen, and I'm kind of referencing Texas OU because that's the big rivalry game for UT every year, is a lot of times if one team gets up 3 scores, it's over
yeah,
Yeah.
because there's so much adrenaline in the beginning. You don't have any adrenaline for the second half. I've watched both UT and Oklahoma blow each other out, and you knew it by the time that they got 3 scores up. Because if you're 1 score up, nobody's worried. If you're 2 scores up, people start getting worried. And for me, it's always been when you're 3 scores up, that's the pivotal. What is it going to be, a blowout or is it going to be a comeback?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm interested about Sark against Elko,
Huh.
right? Because
Yeah.
Sark is, he is the OC at heart. I'm really like interested, like to see, how Sark sets up, some plays that he hasn't really shown yet, right? Like against like A&M.
Yeah.
Let me
That's a
ask. Let
really
me
good
ask
point.
you. Let me ask you guys a question. I mean, it's rare I get to talk to two quarterbacks at the same time about this. Sark is known for when the people who praise him as a play caller and all that, he uses a lot of motion. They talk about the eye candy, the pre-snap motion. He wants to give the defense so much to think about, and probably just for fans, they go, okay, well that sounds great. You should run motion before every play then. But defenses, I mean, how big of a deal is that? Are they overplaying it when the announcers talk about all the eye candy and the defense is so confused? I mean, what have you guys seen?
I mean, I don't think they are, right? Like, because, if you see, 3 like receivers, right, then you're going to have a set plan in like for that. It's, say it's zone or whatever, right? And then the inside receiver on the 3 like receiver side heads over to the other side, right? And so they might have in zone, and then they gotta check out of it to like a blitz or something, right? Like you never know. And so, I mean, I want to say it's it's harder on the safeties, if I were to say, right? Like because they gotta switch over and they gotta go to like the other side, and so yeah, so that's how I think about it.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I guess the point in using so much motion is constantly to keep the defense honest. Like Jay was talking about, when you're using motion, you're coming out in one look, and so the defense is, of course, coming out in response to that. But then you're saying, okay, but what if I do this suddenly and keep you on your toes?
Yeah.
And then that if they're in man, for instance, that this is the key thing I think about when I think of motion is if they're in man, they're going to give it away because that man is going to follow the receiver all the way to the other side. But if they're in zone, he's going to stay home.
Yeah, that's a good point, Michael.
Yeah, as an old wide receiver, I did not have the appreciation for that you guys do. But I heard Peyton Manning talk about it one time, and in my book of all the quarterbacks I've ever seen, he was the guy who, that pre-snap uh, diagnosing. He would talk about, yeah, I mean, I know where the ball is going to go before it's ever snapped. And that's why he started messing with the defenses with all of his Omaha and all of his weird calls, trying just to mess with them. But and Michael and I have talked about that in previous podcasts about um, what's going through a quarterback's head, reading the defense and all that. But you got to remember the defense is also trying to read too. So
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, as far as Texas and Texas A&M, I honestly I have no idea. There's almost nothing that
Yep,
would
that's the
shock
Yeah,
same thing
me.
with me.
Oh,
Yeah,
we may have
I mean, I don't know
lost
who is
Jay
gonna
too.
yeah.
win,
I think
Uh,
he
so
was
I
cutting
mean, it's
out a
gonna
little
be,
bit. Let me
it's
see
gonna
if
be
I can
interesting for
try
sure.
yeah,
Can't
re-inviting
wait to watch
him.
the game.
see if we can get him back.
Little
Um,
little damage control on the fly here.
yeah. Well, I mean, technology's great when it works, and sometimes it. Yeah, even your video is out at the moment.
Well, that's because I'm sending Jay the link to rejoin if he needs it. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll see if we get him back. It's not exactly a live show. We'll see.
Sure.
If we get
Um,
him back, that's awesome. Love having him
yeah.
today.
Um, I guess in the meantime,
What's he
since
say?
while we're waiting on Jay, we can talk about the Cowboys because Jay said he's a Texans fan. Understandably, he's down there in Texans country. Um,
He's trying to
so
join back.
okay, well maybe we can
Let's
get
see if he's in
his
here.
thoughts on that.
Exactly. Here, talking about the Cowboys while we're waiting for our resident Texans fan to
Yeah.
possibly join us.
So you watched the Cowboys Philly game. I know. I
Mm-hmm.
watched it.
There he
And
is.
hey, Jay's back. So we're talking about the Cowboys. I don't know if you caught the Cowboys Philly game, but
Did
uh, Philadelphia comes into Dallas. They can't do anything wrong. It's 21-0 at halftime. And I'll be doggone. Cowboys in the second half couldn't do anything wrong. Philly couldn't do anything right. Cowboys beat them 24-21, which is awesome if you're a Cowboys fan. There's nobody you want to beat more than Philly. Uh, I'm kind of curious again, just to get your thoughts, both of you guys. Uh, They talk about the tale of two halves. How in the world does that happen? We've all seen it at all levels. How can you have two different halves like that with the same two teams?
It might be like obviously it's not the whole story, but I mean I think whenever OCs, I think whenever like they get like conservative after like airing it out, I think the players pick up on that, and so maybe the Eagles were run, and and then like a hitch route for 3 yards or something, right? And then it's a 3 and out. So I mean,
Yeah.
part of it is play calling, right? Because at the same time you're trying to eat away at that clock, but you don't want to get like conservative, right? Like if that makes sense. And I think
Yeah.
like that's what happened with the Eagles is they wanted to like just hold on to it, right? But they can't really run the ball like they did last year. And so I think that's really hurting them this year.
For sure.
Well, they have a new offensive coordinator, and
Yep.
I know Michael and I have talked in the past about uh, football is an emotional game, but it's also an adrenaline game, and I've seen it so many times. A team will come out really, really pumped up, and
Yeah.
Philly was pumped up coming into Dallas, and make that statement early. They got up 3 scores. It's really hard to keep that adrenaline, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes, it is.
I mean, and then once the team who's behind makes a good play and maybe even gets a score, the defense is going well, but we're still up by 2 and it's okay. But they don't have that adrenaline. They don't have the same fire. And then if the team that's behind scores again, now everything gets tight.
Yeah.
And adrenaline changes to, I don't know what the body chemistry is. It's not fear, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's slipping away. And so anyway, the question that we were going to address with the Cowboys, who have now pulled to what, 5-5-1,
Yep.
they're back to equal with Kansas City coming in, and the Chiefs haven't been the Chiefs this year. For some reason, they're losing close games. Does For Cowboys fans, is there really any reason to still kind of hope? I mean, when they were 3-5-1, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get my hopes up. But beating Philly means something. I mean, they're the Super Bowl champions, even if they're a different team this year. If they can beat Kansas City, are they legit?
I think you certainly have to start thinking of them in a way, at least, as legit. Some people say, "Oh, you're only as good as your last game," and the Cowboys' last game was pretty darn good. So I think if they continue that momentum, sure, the start of this little win streak was the Raiders, which are not exactly the cream of the crop. But the
Yeah.
Eagles are certainly a team to take note of when you beat them. So I think if you're able to make it 3 for 3 and 2 for 2 against the most recent Super Bowl participants, I think you certainly have to start thinking that way. It'll be foolish not to.
Jay, you're a Texans fan. You're a neutral. You're thinking with your head and not your heart. What do you think?
I really thought that that like when y'all were hanging in with the Eagles, week 1, I believe, because y'all like opened up the season up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought y'all
We
were
did.
playing really hard. Like as like an outside fan, I was like, okay, yeah, like the Cowboys are going to be a problem this year, right? Because y'all were hanging in with the Eagles, and that was right after the Eagles, had their Super Bowl, um, and and so that Eagles game really had my eye on y'all. It was like, okay, yeah, like I think they're going to be like all right, and then y'all go and trade for Quentin Williams
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
just y'all's like transactions in the off season and in the season has helped y'all a lot.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
George Pickens especially.
Oh my
Yeah, that
gosh.
trade was a fleece.
Pickens
Was a fleece.
Pickens Pickens has far surpassed. I watched him play for the Steelers, and yeah, I mean, you knew he was a good player and everything else, but he was a head case. And man, he's quickly becoming like the go-to guy on offense, and he's earned it.
Yeah.
And he's pretty much kept his head together.
Oh yeah,
And this week it happened at the same time when CeeDee Lamb was having the dropsies again, which, I mean, it happens. I was a receiver. It happens. I'm not gonna not gonna jump on him too much, but yeah, Pickens has definitely turned into the guy. I think for the Cowboys, the difference. They picked up Jadeveon Clowney, who needed to get back in playing shape, and he's not going to play more than 15 snaps a game. But at 32, 33 years old, he still has a good burst. But the Quinnen Williams thing, Michael and I talked about this in the past against the Raiders. So tap the brakes. It was against the Raiders, but the defensive tackles were getting a push right in the quarterback's face, and I couldn't tell you the last time I saw the Cowboys do that. It wasn't the Micah Parsons outside rush. It was the rush right up in the face. And I asked Michael this when we saw that against the Raiders. And Jay, I think you'll probably agree. If you had to choose getting pressure from the outside or straight up the middle, I mean, straight up the middle's worse, isn't it?
100%. It's 100% worse.
Yeah, uh, because you can't step up in the pocket. You got your offensive linemen sometimes being pushed back into your face, and you can't run away from it. And so maybe the Cowboys looked and said, "Look, there's not an edge rusher out there that we can sign, but Quinnen Williams, that dude's different. I hadn't seen much of him with the Jets, but he's bigger than most, and he really does push the pocket
Yes.
backwards
Oh
into
yeah.
the quarterback's face, and that messes up timing. It messes up so much. So maybe there's hope. I know the Cowboys are still like the last ranked defense in the league.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not. My heart says yes, we still have a chance, and we're gonna find a way. But come on, I've been watching football since I was 10 years old, so I guess 50 years.
And
Um, this is not the year the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl.
yeah.
One thing I'd be curious. Michael and I were talking about this a few weeks ago, and by the way, I want to amend my answer at the time. But it's been such a weird year. About the time in the NFL you think somebody's good, they will lay an egg. We
Yeah.
haven't seen that dominant team. And so we were trying at midseason to go, okay, you got to pick your Super Bowl winner today. And by the way, Michael, I think I picked Buffalo
I,
at the
I
time.
think I agreed, or at least
Well,
was close
you might
to
have
agreeing
agreed,
with
but
you
I
there.
think we're both wrong. If we, because I've watched enough of Buffalo, I
Mm.
just don't see it. I
Jared's
want to
smiling
amend.
because he's a Texans fan.
Oh yeah.
Well, I want to amend. I want to amend my answer now that we're in like week 12. But Jay, do you agree that hard to really pick a team because nobody's been really consistent? But if you had to pick a team right now, or maybe pick one from each conference, who would be in the Super Bowl? Who's impressed you?
Well, obviously, I want to say Houston, but that's not the deal. I would probably say the Rams. I think Stafford is having a crazy year, and they dropped some easy games. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, they're 8-2, maybe. I think that they have a shot to go, you know, 17-3 or whatever. And I think it's Rams versus Rams against probably the Ravens. I'm not gonna lie.
Ravens, really?
Yep, their
Wow.
defense
I,
has
I
I
been
mean,
can
they've
see
got a
really
it.
great.
good. Their defense has improved a lot. I think they've gone 6 straight games with under 20 allowed, maybe.
Huh.
Yeah.
I haven't paid
They
attention because
are.
Lamar's been
I
out.
well, Lamar's back now, and I'm pretty sure they've
Right.
been going on some crazy win streak because I recently found out that they are now leading the AFC North. somehow.
Yep.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've
So
come
they,
back from the pits of God knows where.
yeah, they were really bad early in the season when Lamar went out. Um,
Hmm.
and by the way, Jay, it's funny that you mentioned the Rams because that's who I've been the most impressed with. Um,
Yep.
they've been on TV a few times, and I mean Stafford is it's quietly putting together a Hall of Fame career, very quiet for a guy with his numbers and
Hmm.
accomplishments. And they look like a complete team. I don't know of anybody that I would pick over them right now.
Yep.
Um, but injuries can change that, and we always see there's always some team the last 3 games of the year suddenly figures it out, and they get labeled, oh, the team nobody wants to play, even though their record is not great.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I'm with you, man. The Rams. I believe they made the NFC Championship game last year, which surprised me.
Yep. And they
And
lost to the Eagles like by like 3 maybe or something. Yeah. They
yeah,
played their heart out against the Eagles, but they just couldn't win it.
yeah, really, really good, sort of quiet team.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody believe in the Colts? They've been the shock team of the year. Daniel Jones, uh, coming back from the dead, basically from the Giants. Have you guys seen enough of the Colts? Do you believe in them?
Uh, sorta. I think that they have played, not the strongest teams, but um, I mean, yeah, but they can run the ball extremely well. They can throw those little, short routes and crossers and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think their offense is really good, and I'll be interested to see who wins, Houston or Indianapolis in this week. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a really good one to watch because yeah, I feel like it's almost a tale of two opposites. Of course, it's a divisional game, so you can honestly throw out any narratives that may surround these teams. It's one of those rivalry games, like we were talking about the Longhorns and Aggies, Cowboys and Eagles, where you can throw out any, preconceived notions because it's going to be a dogfight. But I feel like the Colts are a team that really came out of nowhere to start off really hot, and while the Texans started off pretty slow, but then recently they've gained a lot of traction. So I almost feel like they're almost level again, especially with Houston, I would say, being the stronger team in recent years.
Yeah, I mean, Houston clearly, CJ Stroud came on like gangbusters. So impressed with what he did early in his career, and he's been out. And I got to be honest, I have not seen Davis Mills. Am I saying his name right?
yes,
Yep.
yes.
Uh, yeah, the Stanford quarterback,
Mhm.
who's apparently been doing pretty well. Uh, you know, haven't watched a whole lot of Texans games. Being a Cowboys fan, you only have a certain number of hours on Sunday. You got to get laundry done and shopping done and all that. And so I plan my Sundays around the Cowboys and don't always see the Texans. Um, what is Jay? If you've been watching the Texans, what have you seen out of Davis Mills that that has really impressed you?
He just doesn't hurt us. He he just holds on. He just hits the open guy and he doesn't hurt us. And I think that has helped us a lot. It's just because our defense is really, really, really talented, and so he
Yeah,
doesn't hurt us with interceptions and sacks. He just, I don't want to say hold on to the rock, but we I want to say we're like third in time of possession this year. So he just
mm.
keeps the chains strolling like along, right? Like if that makes sense. He's never
Yeah.
he isn't like behind like the sticks at all, and then he just holds on to the ball well and he just hits like the open guys. So it's really all you need, really.
I think they refer to that as a game manager.
A
And
game manager, exactly.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl being a game manager. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl being a game manager. This is for the Buccaneers and for the early Ravens.
Hmm.
I mean, sometimes you just need a guy who can take care of the ball and
Hmm.
let your defense and special teams really, if they're super strong. So I
That's
say this
been
to
the
two
philosophy
quarterbacks.
in San Francisco for forever.
Yeah, I mean, I say saying this to two quarterbacks. Sometimes the teams are not built around the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Most teams are, but some teams aren't. So and they can
Yeah.
go a long way and even win championships. So um, well, anyway, Jay, it's been great having you join the podcast, and I mean, I hope you can join us in future ones as well. It's always great to get uh, fresh perspective on stuff. Michael and I grew up in the same household, and so we a lot of times we see things the same way. Uh, but it's always great to get a interesting perspective on things, and really appreciate you joining us.
Oh yeah, man, I appreciate it. Man, and it was awesome. It was awesome, man. I appreciate it all.
Okay. Michael, you have the final word.
Yeah, if I may, just for a moment, I've been kind of thinking about this all day. We were talking about the Cowboys comeback against the Eagles. Jay, your Texans on Thursday night had quite the comeback against the Bills, didn't they? I want to just kind of touch on that and let you speak on that as a Texans fan before we end things off.
Well, I think heading into the game, I was a little bit iffy. And then I just saw how we were playing so hard, and I was like, man, I think we have a shot to win this game. And then we got to stop, and then we sacked Allen like 8 times or something like that. And he
Yeah, I saw
just
that. Yeah.
he looked rushed the whole game. Like he had open shallows and crossers and stuff, and he just wasn't hitting them because he was getting sacked. And so I thought we played really well on offense and on the other side of the ball as well. And
Hmm.
hopefully just hopefully that we can like just hang on to that, like heading into Indianapolis and for the rest of the season.
For sure. What is y'all's record right now?
I think we're 6-5, maybe. I want to say.
Goodness. Okay, that's a couple steps better than I was honestly thinking y'all were. Yeah, y'all
Oh
have an
yeah,
honest shot. If you can keep this thing rolling, kind of like the Cowboys, maybe starting slow, and if you can
yeah,
keep riding hot throughout the rest of the year, you have a real shot. So I'll be rooting
exactly.
for the Texans. Why not?
Hey, I
Yeah,
appreciate
me
that.
too.
I appreciate that, guys.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I've always said for the Cowboys, I want them to be relevant at Thanksgiving because
Yeah,
I mean Thanksgiving the Cowboys always play, and I want that game to mean something where they're still in contention. And we barely squeaked into contention a little bit for this
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I root for the Texans. I mean, hey, they're
I
from
appreciate
Texas,
that.
so yeah,
Oh yeah.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's
well,
not the
cool.
same over here. I'm sorry, fellas. It's not the same over here. I don't like the Cowboys. I never will. I'm sorry.
Nah, no
Probably
worries.
everyone
People
either
tend to
loves the Cowboys or hates them.
they
Yeah.
tend to be, and you know what, Jay, my best friend in the entire world, who's been my best friend since 1984, grew up around Cowboys fans, and these particular Cowboys fans that he grew up around, I guess, were obnoxious about it, and so he has a hatred of the Cowboys. And so, we have fun going back and forth about it. Um, and I try not to be an obnoxious Cowboys fan. I try to be a realistic one. And when they're bad, I mean, I'll say that they're bad, but
Yeah.
there's obnoxious fans for every team out there, I guess. So no, you don't have to pull for the same teams. Now, if you were a Sooners fan, that might be different. But
I will never
I
be a
say that
Sooners fan. I'm sorry.
I say that jokingly, just because the Longhorns have two rivals. There's the Sooners and the Aggies, and the Sooners, boy, just don't like them. But the Aggies have always been like playing your brother, in
Yeah,
backyard football. It's like
Yeah.
I root for the Aggies when they're not playing the Longhorns.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be good. So
For sure.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, it's great that you could join us tonight, Jay. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. This is our special Tuesday recording because
Mm-hmm.
nobody wants to be recording a podcast on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So
for sure.
anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving and hope you can join us in the future.
And you as well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
okay. And
Yeah.
like I said, Michael, the final word is yours.
Oh boy. It's a Michael sandwich with these episodes. I get to bring us in and take us out. So to everyone listening, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you guys for tuning in. Come back next week. We'll have some more stuff to talk about. Probably talk about how much the Cowboys and the Texans beat up on their opponents. Hopefully we'll have some good things to talk about. Be on the lookout for that. Follow on all our social medias. Follow Jay as well. I'll be sure to tag him as well on any clips or anything that I post about this episode. So go show him some love as well. Love this guy. Yeah, thank you guys,
Love you
and
too,
we'll see you
Mike. Love
guys
you
next
too,
week.
Mike.
All right.
Yeah,
Awesome. Sounds
See
good.
absolutely.
you guys
I
next time.
appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. Happy
Absolutely.
Thanksgiving, guys, and God bless.
Happy
Yes, sir.
Thanksgiving.
You too.
Okay.